Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here for another edition of Coffee Time. Diana, is this number 21 this time?
It is number 21, and today is April the 21st.
Wow, 21 videos. That's a lot.
21 videos on the 21st of April. I thought it was kind of
fantastic. So it's kind of a drippy day outside. We've got some rain.
Yeah, you've got
there.
A few little raindrops.
Little raindrops on my shirt. So let's get right into it. What are we going to talk about this week?
Well, let's talk about the shirts.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, new shirts, new Wocky Pot shirts.
Yes.
So these are an unintentional perfect match for our business cards. Our business cards are exactly that same color of lavender in the background with the same logo on the front. So I think you did a really good job picking out the colors.
It must have been in the back of my mind, the cards. I have no idea, but I took the logo and I was like, let's try it on this, let's try it on that. Yep. And then I'm like, well, I think it looks better on the lighter color. So that's why I ended up with these. So
Carolyn actually designed t-shirts for us. These are not the ones that she designed, which they had some designs on the sleeve and
and they were like designed for long sleeve,
right.
And since we're moving into summer, the long sleeve just is not going to be what we need for when we're at shows.
We'll probably have a variety of shirts, but these are going to be the shirts that we start with for doing our
and then we'll
shows.
Get the ones that she designed for when the cooler weather comes back again.
Yep.
So
all right. So what else?
Nice.
What else? What's going on?
Alrighty. Well, this past week has been filled with lots and lots of glazing.
Right. We're trying to pack the kiln 2 times. We have pretty much one full kiln load ready, and then we're going to have to run it again. But we have an event coming up this coming weekend.
Yes, Saturday.
And we need at least one load of glazed pottery to come out of that before the event. And I'm sure we're going to have that one, but we're probably not going to get 2 loads.
Yeah, it would be pushing it. There's a possibility, but I don't know.
We'd have to really hustle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
So
I've been hustling though.
You really have. Well, 40 pieces. Diana's glazed about 40 pieces, and I haven't been much help at all. I've been running around doing other things. She's been doing all the glazing, and those 40 pieces are probably enough to fill the kiln up. We may even have more than the kiln will hold. So we'll see when we actually get it packed later on today.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to see some of the pieces come out, because when you went last time, you picked up a couple of new glazes,
right.
And I did do just a couple of pieces to see how they would do. I didn't go hog wild or anything with them because they could turn out absolutely terrible.
So we got to test them. We got to try them and see how they work. And we've got that, that we've been working on. The glazing has been a big deal. We did get, and we better mention it now in case it messes up, we did get a new microphone.
Yes, there it is.
This is our new microphone. Hopefully the sound is okay. And our poor little assistant.
He feels so left out.
He feels left out. So we're going to leave him here for right now. Just to see what we can do, but he's definitely going to stay a part of our crew because he's been so helpful. Mike is
I
who we're
think
talking
he
about.
needs a little baseball hat,
a baseball hat,
baseball cap, and and he can spectate.
I think that would be a fantastic thing. So we'll try the new microphone, and hopefully that will work out okay. What else happened last week? Lots of stuff we need to talk about.
We had, we did another Raku firing last week. So you've got the pieces here on the table.
This Raku firing was far more successful than our previous firing. We're having a hard time getting the temperature where we wanted it previously, but in this particular batch, I raised the shelf up from the bottom, and I made the shelf a little bit smaller, and probably more importantly, I put another layer of insulation on the inside. So our Raku kiln is now very, very efficient And I think we're going to have a much easier time regulating the temperature and getting exactly where we want. We did some experimentation with the horsehair Raku, which is what we have here. We'll get back to that in a moment. And then we also have one new Raku glaze on the end. The name of that is Cassiopeia. That's the name of the glaze.
Right.
And we had a little bit of an issue with that, but Diana did some troubleshooting, figured out that we need to have it get to temperature much more slowly than what we
were
did.
like in super fast speed mode. I mean, it got up to temperature
45 minutes.
Yes,
we were at temperature in 45 minutes.
It really should have taken way longer than that. So, I mean, our kiln was like super efficient. So we just need to kind of back off on the propane a little bit.
We're going to get a regulator for the tank. That will make a huge difference in our ability to keep things consistent and controllable. As it is right now, the only regulator I was using was on the knob of the burner itself, and we're just using a weed burner for this, and there's no kind of gauge, no kind of numeration on it at all. It's basically you just turn the screw until it's where you want it. And that's too hard to control. So we're going to have to get a regulator for the propane tank. And then I think that's when our Raku setup will be absolutely
But I'm very
perfect.
pleased with what came out. I love that vase.
Right. And I'll show close-up pictures of these. These are our second batch of horsehair Raku from our kiln.
Right.
And these, they turned out really, really well. And once we have everything, like the horsehair Raku is very forgiving. There's a big range that we can apply the horsehair to and still have it turn out okay. The glazes are not as forgiving, and they have to fire at more specific ranges. So as we get things dialed in, we'll get a little more precise and a little more controlled, and things will just keep getting better and better all the time. So we did the Raku firing. We'll talk more about the Raku pottery in a moment.
Yes, because we actually have a question about that. But we'll get to that.
Yep.
Let's finish.
Sure. What else happened last week? When you talk about?
We had the plant pot class on Saturday, yesterday.
What a fun class. The plant pot class went really, really well. It was a great class. We had 6 people? No.
7.
7 people in the studio making little planters, little plant pots.
Yes, and it went really well. They used the texture rollers that I had for them, as well as some silicone stamps and things. And then there was some sculpting done also. And they made a couple of different styles, basically. And in fact, I have some here that I did too.
I'll show you pictures of what the students did.
Yes, we did take some pictures of that. But basically, they could have a plant pot that is for sitting down on a shelf, or they could put the holes in the top and then use like macrame cord and make it into a hanger. And so we had a good time with those, and it was nice. We had some new folks in the studio, as well as several folks that have been with us for other classes. And so it was a nice mix of people and a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was.
We're always so anxious and nervous before the classes happen, and then once class starts, boom, blink of an eye, it's gone in no time at all.
It's the same way it always was teaching. Before the school year started, you were always nervous, always worried, what's it going to be like? I hope it turns out well. I hope they like me. I hope I do a good job. I hope they're, ready to learn. And here we are, and I still go through that again.
Right, there's so much stress getting ready for a class, and it is completely offset by how much fun and how quickly the classes go. So anyway, the class went really, really well. Look forward to some more classes coming up soon. And we'll tell you more about that as they come up.
Yeah.
So what else?
Now let's see. Oh, the other thing that I did this week, we are now scheduled. Barb called us from the 4-H office to get us to do the Artist in You program for her again this summer.
We did it last summer.
We did, and we're doing the pottery session of that. So it's 2 classes of it. And so we were talking about what kind of project would they want to do this time. Last time they did mugs. So we were thinking, let's do something different than mugs, but something that would be easy for kids to do and something that's usable. So I came up with an idea for a bird feeder, and I've done searches on the internet and looked at other people's bird feeders, and then I decided to do this one, which is using my mug template, so my mug body template, but I actually adhere it together instead of doing my 45-degree join. And then I put these extra pieces on to hold the bird seat in. And I went with them on the outside actually for a purpose. Not only is it easier for the kids to put them on the outside like this, but I was thinking for the birds,
it gives them a little perch.
Yes, it gives them a little perch on the outside so they can actually land here and then duck in. And I know from, what I've been seeing that size-wise, a lot of the goldfinches will love this, and the chickadees. It's a really good size for those birds. And then it's got the 2 holes here so that it can hang. And I'm really pleased with that.
That would be a good candidate for instructional videos. If we do get to our 300 subscribers, that's the kind of thing that would be very quick and easy for us to be able to show as a video. Yes. So what else did you do?
And then the other thing I did was I made several ornaments this week, several Christmas tree ornaments, or I guess you could actually just hang them on cording and stuff for decoration because they're part of our seaside line. So this one is the starfish, but I also have a mermaid tail and I have a seahorse. And I've already put the hangers in them. And the reason I've put the hangers in now, this is special nichrome wire, so it can handle the heat in the kiln and not melt. It will blacken though, but it'll look nice.
Yeah, we can buff that out a little bit to get some.
I kind of like that look, truthfully. But as the clay shrinks, it shrinks around the hook, and then as it shrinks again during the bisque fire and the glaze fire, it just keeps getting tighter and tighter on that hook.
So it should never come out.
It shouldn't pull out. Yes.
Very nice. I'm a little concerned. You have a mermaid tail. I guess it would look weird if you had the other half of the mermaid instead. That would be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's really great. We love that high temp nichrome wire stuff. We're gonna have to use more than that. You were super busy this week.
Yes.
I didn't do a whole lot other than trying to fix the Raku kiln. As far as making things, I've made some more Raku pottery.
Yes.
There's a couple pieces here and a couple above your shoulder there. These are eventually going to be for the osprey nest on Chincoteague. It's for their Misty line pony hair pottery that they're going to be doing. Is that Misty line pony hair pottery?
Yes.
And that's going to be pottery that features hairs from ponies that were the descendants of Misty of Chincoteague. Now, we've been doing horsehair pottery, but we've been using hair from our daughter's horse. She has a horse named Magic. So the hairs that we've been using so far have been just regular horse hairs. Substantially, there isn't going to be much of a difference in look, but when we do the Misty line pottery, all of that pottery will have special markings on the bottom designating it as pottery that was made using hair from a descendant of Misty of Chincoteague, and I think that's going to be fantastic.
Yes, it definitely will. And that brings us to our question, because we've been talking a lot about Raku this whole time, and we've mentioned horsehair Raku quite a bit. We had a question asking, what is horsehair Raku? Right,
so Raku firing in and of itself is just a slightly different process than firing in our regular electric kiln. Our Raku kiln is meant to fire a lot faster than our electric kiln. And the shortest time we've had right now is 45 minutes. And in 45 minutes, we can get our kiln up to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. But that does not mean that that's the best way to to fire all kinds of pottery. It turns out that works out very well for horsehair pottery, but when you start applying the glazes, we found this out. When you start applying the glazes, you really need a longer time with the glaze on in order for the glaze to do what it wants or what it needs to do. So horsehair pottery is just where you take the piece of pottery out of the kiln at somewhere between, what did we say, was it 14 and 1700 degrees Fahrenheit?
14 to 1800 is the
14
range.
to 1800 degree Fahrenheit range. And I'm not sure what that is in Celsius. I need to look that up, though, probably, because Celsius is by far the superior way of measuring temperature. But with our technique, we take this out with the tongs, and then we put it on a block, and then we lay horsehair over the pottery to get these fine lines.
Yes.
Now, you can't see it, but I'll maybe show it to you in the picture. If we put the horsehair pottery, or if we put the horsehair on the pottery when the piece is too hot, we end up with these white lines because it's just too hot even to carbonize. It basically evaporates way too quickly to leave the black marks.
Right. And I think that piece, that happened to quite a bit on that piece. That must have been one of the first ones you pulled out.
And then you get the black marks once the piece is just a little bit cooler. So in a piece like this, it has a variety of marks, a few white lines and a few black lines. And this is...
I kind of like both of them.
It is a very interesting effect.
Yes.
So this is what horsehair raku pottery is. It's just a matter of having a really hot piece of pottery that you then lay horsehair over top of to make these almost like lightning bolt designs. Now, it's important to note that this isn't just a surface imperfection on the pottery. If you really, really scrub on this, those lines aren't coming off. They are carbon that's embedded in the matrix of the ceramic. And it's not like a finish that goes on top. It isn't like paint. It isn't even like ink. It's actually in the matrix of the pottery. And after these pieces all cool, and eventually we'll have a video that we don't have yet. After these are cool, we put them in the water and we actually do scrub with an abrasive scrubber to get all the little bits and pieces of smudge that are left on, to get all those off. And then what we're left with is our horsehair raku. Now, we can do other things with this too. We can use feathers or maybe bits of plant matter. We haven't really done too much experimenting with that on our own.
Not yet, because we've been really focused on the horsehair right now, because we're trying to get a lot of those pieces finished for the Osprey Nest Art Gallery.
Right, they've actually requested a bunch of these
and
pieces.
So we're trying to make sure our technique is spot on for that. But I know we actually are going to be doing some of their pottery this week for them.
For sure, absolutely.
Because we finally are confident enough that, we think the process will work, and we've got our routine down. You take the lid off and then bring the piece over, and I'm laying the horsehair around.
We may, since we've done it a couple times now, we may be confident enough to set up a camera and actually video the process. This piece won't be dry for a while, but this is an example of the kind of piece that we'll be doing with horsehair, actually with pony hair, for the Osprey Nests. So this and the piece in front of it and the two pieces over there are definitely going to be likely candidates for that.
Yeah, and I know we had hoped that we would be doing a raku today, but
not with all the rain.
It rained.
It's raining. We were really planning.
And of course, raku is done outside.
And we do have a couple of pieces that are all bisque fired and ready for raku firing. And I guess that's another thing we didn't mention. Our method of doing raku is very similar to doing our normal pottery up until the glazing part. When we make a piece like this, it still has to dry for several days to a week or more, and then it goes in our bisque fire at the same temperature as our other pottery goes at. And once it's bisque fired and comes out, that's when we start treating it differently. That's when it will go into the raku kiln instead of our electric kiln for a glaze fire. So the process is a little bit different, and because of the sudden temperature changes, the failure rate, as I've mentioned probably previously, the failure rate is much higher for raku than it is with our normal pieces, or at least so far with us it is. And these pieces are not food safe. We won't be drinking or eating anything out of any of our horsehair Raku pieces. I don't know if they're fully vitrified, although we could check that. But I know for sure that they are porous and they're going to absorb any liquid you put in. And over time, that could cause problems.
I do know they are not vitrified. Even if you were to take it all the way up to cone 10, the absorption rate would still be, what was it, 5 or 8%? Way above
acceptable.
Yes.
I
checked into that.
You checked into it. The distinguishing factor there for us is thermal shock. Raku clay is different than normal clay because it is comprised of enough grit and sand and other particles that make it very, very durable and not as susceptible to the cracking that is caused by thermal shock. Yeah. Our other pottery, as great as this pottery or this clay is over here, it couldn't withstand the rapid changes in temperature from a Raku kiln.
Maybe an occasional piece, but you'd find more pieces not make it.
And if we have time, I think that's something we should test.
Right. It would be interesting.
Why not play around with it? The only thing is, eyewear and that kind of stuff. Yes, because
might
be an explosion.
That's right.
Yep.
So this coming week, we do have, as we've said a while ago, we've got the glaze load happening. So hopefully we'll be doing a glaze unload.
Right, a kiln
video.
Opening.
Opening. Thank you. That's the right word.
Yep, we'll do it because a kiln closing video is pretty boring. Right? I mean, it's pretty.
Yes, let's put it in and close the lid.
Although you might be interested to find out exactly what buttons we push, maybe on our kiln.
I don't know.
Our kiln is pretty fantastic, and that actually might be a short video. We'd have to.
Yeah,
that might be
worth
be
fun.
Some time, but probably not this week.
And then on Tuesday, our next round of homeschool classes start, but this time they are the homeschool clay classes.
Right. Last time we did more of two-dimensional kind of art with the students, and we had the students for 6 sessions, and we talked about the principles of art. Previous to that was the elements of art. So elements and principles of art have already been taught to this group of kids, and now it's time to get them into the studio and do the same kind of treatment using clay. We're going to do 3D modeling with these students, talking always referring to the elements and principles of art that we've already discussed, and the kids will be making their own projects out of clay. Now, this is a 4-session class.
It is a 4-session, and we'll focus a bit on the history of clay, as well as some of the science that goes into the process of making pottery. So many different topics that can be covered.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I know this week has seemed almost like a vacation week because we didn't have any homeschool art classes this week. But I'm really looking forward to getting the kids back in the studio and doing some more classes with them. And finally, we're doing classes that tie in exactly with what we're doing in the studio as a whole. So the kids will be working on their clay stuff, the same kind of clay that we're working with when they're not here.
And then, of course, this week we're also going to be making some pottery on the days before we go up to Chestertown for the Revenge of the Stitch, the SEA event that we're setting up for.
We're very excited about that. We showed you the costumes last week.
Yes, we did. And it's 2 hours. So it's 2 hours from here
of travel. 2 hours of travel.
Yeah. So we'll go up and that'll be fun. But in the meantime, I have some things that I want to make this week. I'm going to make, of course, some more of these bird feeders. Just making sure that I have it
Your algorithm dialed
tuned in. Yes. And then I want to do some more mugs for our seaside collection to take to Shinkatig. Maybe it'll have seahorses or mermaid tails.
Who knows?
But it'll be a part of the seaside collection.
Yeah, not mermaid top hats though. That's weird.
It would have to be a full one.
Right.
Maybe, or if it was the body and sticking out of water.
Yeah, maybe like a mermaid tail for the handle. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, that would be. That's kind of
okay. Now we got to think about that.
Yeah, maybe that might get done.
That might be a thing. So I'm going to be doing some more of these Raku pieces because I want to get the pieces done for the osprey nest so they're drying and then bisque flared. And I have to make way more pieces than they asked for, just because inevitably some will fail. So I need to make more than what's requested.
And don't forget the other thing you're going to make this week, hopefully.
Okay, so we had.
I'm excited for this.
We had somebody tagged me on Facebook, and they showed us these yarn bowls, and the yarn bowls are like monster faces with noses. And the yarn is coming out of the monster's nose and it looks like snot. And it's hilarious. So I want to make a couple of those if I can. Mr. B, I'm sure will be interested. I know
you sent it to him too.
I'm sure he'll be interested in seeing those as well.
Snot yarn bowls.
Yep. I think they'll be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Maybe make a couple of those this week.
Make a couple of those. And then when we get them glazed, I'll put some green yarn
it'd be hilarious.
Into one and have it pulled through.
Yep. That'd be hilarious. That won't be ready anytime in the next couple of weeks. It literally, if I started it today, it would be a month at least before they were ready. But that's something that we got to get started.
And I know you were going to work on another pedestal piece, and then I chimed in this morning because all night long I have had weird things going through my head all night long, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to make this.
Diana has commandeered the second pedestal piece for Clayapalooza this summer.
We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed, guys, because there's going to be a sparrow bird, there's going to be a quilt, there's going to be roots, and there's going to be a solid rock.
So that's...
And I'll explain all of that if it actually gets together the way I want it to.
But there's a plan. She's planning it. So we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. I hope it works out.
Me too.
But it'll be fun to do, even if it doesn't.
It looks wonderful in my head. It's just phenomenal. It's fabulous. It's like the best thing ever, guys.
I would say you definitely need to work on it then, for sure. So you're going to be working on that.
Yep.
The only other thing that I really need to be working on for the Clayapalooza, aside from the second pedestal piece, I still need to make that garden stacker. I have not yet done that, and goodness gracious, if I don't make that, it's not going to be ready. So I got.
And I'm going to have to write up on the whiteboard for you too, because you said that we would do 10 mugs.
We already have those. That's just 10 mugs.
It's just 10 mugs?
I don't have to make 10 mugs for that.
Oh, I thought they had to look different.
No.
Okay.
As long as we have 10 mugs. And, geez, I probably could reach my hand out and touch 10 mugs.
Okay. I thought they had to be something really ornate and different.
And the only other thing is we need to be set up with our market presentation. And that's easy. That's that's nothing.
Yes. So. Yes. So.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
All right, well...
We've covered everything.
Gone right through the list. We've got a rainy afternoon that we can spend doing some pottery and having some fun. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Well, let's go ahead and sign it out and get to work. Guys, don't forget, if we get to 300 subscribers, we are going to start regular how-to videos showing you how to do a lot of the pottery stuff that we're working on, and maybe some other cool, crafty things, too.
We might start before then, guys.
Who knows? Anyway, for now, let's go ahead and sign it out. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic day, no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.